Welcome to Beyond the Open Door. I am your host, Domina, and you have entered a safe and sacred space. For today's Dark Mass, I want to share a dream that I recently had. I don't know about you, but I want to encourage you to pay attention to your dreams. Don't just brush them off, especially if they bring a sense of unease or maybe even present themselves as nightmares, or they're so bizarre and you can't come to a conclusion of why you had the dream in the first place. Don't dismiss your dreams. And yeah, there are books out there about, differentiating from having um, bad pizza before you go to bed, or eating something right before you go to bed, or maybe it's a recreation of something you watched on TV that disturbed you. Yeah, there are those ways that we can differentiate. But there's one type of dream that I just want to talk about briefly today. And it's called a lucid dream. Now, I want to just put this really basic description or definition of what a lucid dream is. It's the realization of being in a dream while dreaming the dream. And I have come to understand for myself within these past couple of years that I have been a lucid dreamer all my life. And many times those dreams, I have seen them as nightmares. Those dreams that have been so real that they have scared me and caused night tremors and just left me feeling unease when I woke up. But I'm understanding now that they were lucid dreams, that I was realizing without understanding or knowing the terminology at the time, that I was in the dream, realizing I was in the dream while dreaming that dream. And when you are in those types of dreams, you need to understand that you can manipulate that dream and change the outcome. But when you don't understand that you're there, you think that what you're seeing and what you're dreaming in the midst of being in that dream is your reality. And you have this sense why I believe they felt like nightmares, because there was a sense that I couldn't change the outcome. And so whatever was happening, whatever was going on, I had to accept that this was my reality. And that would bring discomfort, that would bring a sense of fear, a sense of unease, and all those things that come with that. And then it would leave you with this fear that this is the best that it's going to be. But we have the ability to change our outcome. So let me just share this dream that I had. I was trying to record it last week, and the timing, every time I tried to sit down, something would come up and I couldn't have the time to do it. And then I had some unexpected travel this week, and I just got home yesterday and I'm exhausted. But I don't want another week to go by that I don't talk about this and present this, because I believe we really need to take hold of our dreams, see the meaning of them, but also understand that we have the capability to change the outcome. We don't just have to accept it. Yes, we can see the warnings, we can see the signs, we can see what's going on, but we, as I said a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last month, whenever I recorded last, that we're our own savior. So if we're our own savior, then we have the ability to change and redirect our situation, our course, our end goal. We have that capability. We have that power. And we do not have to succumb to our fear. We do not have to succumb to this is the best that it's going to be. We do not have to accept that there is no hope. There is always hope. So let me share the dream and get out of the way. I had this dream. I was in this room. It looked like a hotel room because it wasn't any room in my house. But it wasn't a house. It was like I was in a hotel room. And my baby sister was in the dream with me for just a brief moment. And we were in this hotel room, and on the bed was her toiletry bag, her cosmetic bag, and inside that bag was a rat. Not a mouse, a rat. But it was a big brown rat. It almost looked like a groundhog, but it wasn't as big of a groundhog. But it was a nice sized rat. And the rat was able to get out of her bag, and it started running around the room. So then this chaos ensued in the room, and I heard all these voices. I didn't see faces. I didn't even see my sister anymore, but I heard all these voices within this room clamoring, scattering, and chaos ensued because the rat was running around trying to get out. And in the dream, I saw the rat. The rat saw me and jumped on my right hand. It was very specific. He jumped on my right hand and he held on for dear life. I'm just assuming it was a male rat. I don't know. But he jumped on my hand, held on for dear life. I could feel his little claws in my skin, and I could feel his teeth. He was holding on that tight. He gripped my hand that tight. And I wasn't in fear, although I don't like critters, but I wasn't in fear. I was just trying to get him off of me. And the only, I didn't see a door. I saw a window. So I walked toward the window. Now, there was something in my in my left hand, and I don't know what it was, but my left hand was occupied. So as I walked toward the window, the rat began to move the blinds, move the screen of the window, and open the window. And when I saw the opening of the window, I put my hand through the window. It was pitch black outside. There was no moon. There were no stars. There were no lights in the city. So wherever this hotel was, it was in no man's land. And I put my hand through the window. And once my hand was in the open air, the rat jumped off into the darkness. I don't know what floor of the hotel we were on. I didn't see ground. I just saw darkness. And the rat jumped off as soon as he saw he had a way of escape. He jumped off and he was gone. And when I brought my hand back into the room, back into the light, I looked at my hand, and my husband appeared in the scene. And we both were looking at my hand. And the dream was so real that when the rat was on my hand, I could feel the weight. I could literally feel the weight of this rat. So when I lifted my hand, I had to actually exert energy to lift my hand and to get it out the window once there was an opening. But when I brought it back, I could feel the release, that pressure, that weight was no longer there. And when I looked at my hand, he had been holding on so tight, I could see his teeth marks imprinted on my skin, though they didn't break my skin. And I never felt like the rat was an adversary, like the rat was trying to harm me, but the rat was on me as I was his way of escape. I was the vehicle to help him get out of that situation. And after I woke up and I looked at my hand because the imprint was so real in the dream, I was looking at my hand, and obviously there were no teeth marks on my hand, but that's how real that scene was. That's how real that dream was. That's how real, and that was my understanding that I was actually there in that dream while I was dreaming it. So as I woke up and I tried to make sense of everything, I came downstairs, I wrote it down, I pulled a couple of cards. And I was trying to understand, the meaning of all this. So I wrote a couple of things down about the rat. The rat was in the bag. He saw the hole. He got out. The rat saw my hand as a way of escape, and he latched on. The rat found a way to open the window, which was an impossibility. How the hell could a rat lift the blinds, lift the screen of the window, and then the window itself? That's an impossibility. But the rat did that. Not my hand, not my human hand, because my human hand was occupied by the rat. And my other hand had something in it that obviously I did not have access to. Can't explain it, but that's what was going on in the dream. And when I let my hand out of the window, the rat found a way of escape. He took that way without having confirmation that he was going to land safely, without having confirmation that once I got free, that I was going to land safely, that I was going to have solid ground or a solid place to land on. That didn't matter. Freedom was the ultimate goal for the rat, and freedom was the ultimate end the rat received. So I pulled two cards, and I pulled the Four of Cups, and I pulled the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles was in reverse. And in this interpretation with those two cards, and here's the deck that I drew them from. It's called the Horror Tarot. So here's the Four of Cups, and then here's the Four of Pentacles in reverse. The whole meaning of this dream, and I'm still processing it, but at the time that I sat down to try to get a handle of what this was talking about, the meaning of this dream at the time that I saw was realizing what's important to you and letting everything else go. What was most important to this rat was freedom. And even though he got out of the bag and grabbed onto my hand, he still wasn't free. He was free from the bag, but he still didn't have ultimate freedom. And he didn't let go of my hand until he saw his ultimate freedom. And the other part of that is realizing what's important to you and letting everything else go, but not letting everything else go, or letting everything else go and counting the cost of that. Once he got into the open air, he jumped off my hand. And again, no solid landing that I could see. I don't know what happened to that rat once he jumped off my hand. I didn't hear a splatter. I didn't hear anything. All I know is the ultimate goal for that rat was to be free. And whatever it took for that rat to get that freedom, he took it. So after I had all that, then I had to understand who was the rat. And I had this conversation with my husband because I told him about it. I went back to bed, and eventually he woke up and I was telling him about it. And I was understanding The rat was me. I was the rat feeling trapped. I was in this one bubble and I got out, but I still wasn't free. And it takes me back to the last time I came before you talking about who was my savior. I am my savior. I saved myself. That was a picture of me saving myself. I found a way to open the to get the blinds. I found a way to open the screen. I found a way to open that window. And once I saw freedom, I leaped for it. And it didn't matter. It did not matter. I didn't have to see where I was going to land. I just knew I was going to land. And all I knew is if I could get out, I knew I would land. So the landing wasn't the ultimate goal. Freedom was the ultimate goal. I need you all to see you deserve your freedom. And whatever you need to do, whatever impossibility that it looks like to get there, you need to make sure you get there at all costs. That you experience that at all costs. If you have to jump out of a metaphorical, I'm not telling you to commit suicide. Hear what I'm saying? I'm saying if you have to jump out of a metaphorical window to get your freedom, take the leap. If you have to fight and scratch your way out of that room, out of that bag, out of that situation, do what is necessary for you to free yourself. We all deserve to be free. And what freedom looks like for you does not necessarily look that way for me. But whatever way freedom looks like for you, pay attention to your dreams, because you and your dreams are really you talking to yourself. It is your deep unconsciousness telling you, you got this, trying to show you there is a way, trying to let you know and confirm to you, you can make this happen. And as scary as it looks, I don't like critters, but it took a rat for me to see that. You may be afraid of heights. You may be afraid of spiders. You may be afraid of confronting people. You may be afraid of confronting yourself and admitting to yourself, I deserve better. Listen to your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams, because they are you talking to you, reaffirming you. Telling you you deserve more, telling you you can have more, telling you you can go against the grain, telling you you can beat all the odds, telling you you don't have to listen to the naysayers, telling you that what you know you can do, you can do. What you know you can have, you can have. What you know you can be, you can be. You are your own liberator. And in your dreams, you are trying to make sure you hear that. So pay attention to them. Don't see them as nightmares. Don't see them as something that can't be done. You can do anything you want to do. You can do, as it says in that book, you can do all things, but it's through you. You can do all things through you. You have the capability, you have the tools, you have the power, you have the instinct, you have the intellect, you have all that you need. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. You have the power to change even what you see in your dream. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. And with that, peace and blessings to you all.